this just because it might be a little bit easier to have a reference continuously of like an overview of Roll20 and how to use it in terms of a player. I don't know how much you know, but I'm just going to kind of briefly go over everything. So, up here in this upper left-hand corner, there's a bunch of little gadgets and gizmos that help you navigate and move smoothly. You have the hand that helps you move, the clicker, which is your default. Here's your little drawing tool. You can freehand it, pen line, draw a rectangle, and whatever color, and you just put it up there. But you would have to go back to that to delete it. Measuring things. If you want to measure the distance of where you are or for a spell, you would click that little measuring tool, and depending on what the spell has, you would choose either a line, a square, or a circle. Say I'm casting a line spell, you can see wherever I click, that's where it's going to start counting by feet, and you hold the click to kind of move it around and drag it around. Or like your darkness, you would hit circle, and then again you would click, hold, drag out to however many feet. You can see however many feet it is, and that's a good reference for that. I know during session he had you do like the /R1D20. If that's a mouthful to do, you also have beneath the little ruler on the left hand, you have the dice. It'll immediately punch out a bunch of your D4s, D6s, D8s, all the way up to the D100. The numbers over here are just however many you want to roll. If you want to just roll a D20, you would click it, and it would, wow, 2 14s. Great. But if, say, he wanted you to roll with advantage, you would hit the 2, and wow, nat 1. Fantastic. 14! Oh my gosh, I just realized that's 3 14s. Oh, I'm going off script here, so forgive me if I prattle. But that's just quick reference of dice if you don't remember how to do the R/ thing. Up here, you have your little tools, or I say up here, up on the right side, you have your chat box, you have the chat blog. Next to that, the little artsy, craftsy thing. You don't really have to worry about this. It's really just for the DM's place. Next part over that has the little book with the sparkles on it. This is where you have the character sheet. I'm just gonna pull up Atticus's sheet real quick. We'll come back to this in a second. You already know most of this, any hoodles. I'm just bringing it up for reference. Next to, going back to the right in the chat, next to that, the 3 books that has the compendium. I think this is where you've been searching things in Roll20. This is where your crossbow and whatnot, you don't have to do anything super special. Looking back at Atticus's sheet, you see here he has a dagger and this light thing. You want to look at this attacks and spellcasting. This is going to be important. Say, for whatever reason, Atticus got a short sword. I'm going to look up short sword over here on the right in the compendium, and you'll see a list of different things. Proficiencies will show up, items will show up. All you have to do, click, drag it into your character sheet. And then immediately you see that it popped up right there. It already has any proficiencies that I have. It already added my, I think, dex modifier. And it even added it, I think, yep, down here into my items, into my equipment. So that way I don't have to do anything. That way, if, say, I say Atticus is going to attack with a short sword, all I have to do, and all you would have to do, is click it in your character sheet, and you can see it's already rolled, and it even has the damage. You can do this with spells as well. Say, mending. Not that I think you would cast a lot of spells, but the same thing goes. If you ever have a spell and you're like, sweet, I want to cast this, you can look it up here in Roll20. Then you would just click and drag it over. And then immediately it will pop up onto your character sheet with any proficiencies and whatnot that you have. If you ever want to delete something, you will scroll down. You'll see this little click, or this little lock. Click that. You'll see it automatically starts moving, or like highlights things. On the left side where there are the 3 lines, that's how you move things up and down. Say if you wanted to organize things alphabetically, like I typically like to do, then you would do that. If you want to nix something, throw it into the dumpster, get it gone, you're gonna hit the red button. Gone forever. Not actually, just until you put it back. And then once you're done with that, you'll click lock. Everything will go back to how it was, just with the new changes. This applies over here as well. You'll see the lock. And if you wanted, there are some things that Roll20 does not automatically have. There are some spells that Roll20 doesn't have, and there are some items that you don't have. Those ones you will have to put in manually. This is where the plus button will come in handy. Say, for whatever reason, we're just gonna pick an axe. I know Roll20 has axes. I would type axe for the name. Is this an attacking thing? Yes, it is. It uses strength, I know that. Do I add my proficiency when I attack? I'll make sure that box is checked. You can double check this if you ever actually have to do this. But then scroll down, damage. Does it deal damage? Yes, it does. What kind of damage does an axe do? I actually think it does a 1d8 plus your strength modifier, because melee weapons are cool like that. Doesn't do any special effects. If I did, maybe it has additional damage, then I would click that box. Let's say it does a 1d4 of psychic damage. Then sweet. Once I'm done setting everything, you'll hit the little cog wheel, it'll go back up, and look at that, there's my pitiful little axe that doesn't deal too much damage. But I already have it set up as well, where if I click it, roll it, immediately has that and the 2 types of damage. I actually didn't type out what kind of damages those were, but that is okay. You would do that again here. If you ever need to edit things after you've already put them on there, you'll hover over it and you'll see the little cogwheel right next to it. You click on that. And since I'm such a nerd, I forgot to type in the type of damage. Slashing. Horribly misspelled. But now you'll see slashing appears on the damage. Again, this is a little complicated, but at least you'll have it here in this thing. Proficiencies, again, I think these things you will have to type in manually a little bit, but just add them. Say if you have a healer's kit, you type it in there. Are you proficient with it? You'll know either because your background or your race or your class tells you it. What attribute comes with a healer's kit? DMs are supposed to kind of change it all the time, but I would say just base it off of the thing that's most likely. In this case, for healing, kind of looking up at medicine is a wisdom check, so sure, let's say that it's a wisdom thing. Boom! Lock it in! Now I have a healer's kit, so I'm not actually proficiency with that, but so we'll nix that. But that's how you do that. I think you know how to handle these things, you know, type it in the language. I suddenly speak Dwarvish. I don't actually speak Dwarvish, but again, at least these things over here, forgive me for jumping around, pretty easy to put in. This little space right next to your items, I have a lot, so forgive me. But these features and traits, I don't know if you already have this figure or filled out. This is where you're going to put a lot of things that are racial. Sometimes you can drag them over from this compendium. Like I don't know if it actually will. Let me test that out here. Nope. Unless I spelled tough wrong. But again, you will add these things. We'll take tough for a second. Tough is a feat that you can get to get more HP. You type the name of it. What is the source? This is specifically a feature, but sometimes you'll get it from an item or from your background or your class or your racial. Type it in there. Type of source, say if it was, we'll say tough was a racial feature that I got it. And for whatever reason, it was a Goliath feature. I'm not actually a Goliath. I know you know that. And then here you would type out, what does the tough feat actually do? For sake of ease, you could also copy and paste it. But then once you got it ready, now it's here, ready for you to use. This, I'm gonna go to the chat log here. You can tap the red to shrink it, so that way you don't have just like an entire compendium of information lugging you down. If you needed to edit it, you would hit the little cog wheel, hit it again to put it back together. If you wanted to post it, you actually, I saw you do this a couple of times. If you wanted to post it, you hit the speech bubble, tough, Goliath, blah, 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 blah. People are gonna have a lot of questions if they pay attention to what's been going on. I don't think you have spells, but it seems like you have the capacity to do that. Unfortunately, manually putting in spells is a little more complicated, but only if you don't know what you're doing. Realize that's no help. This is why it's good to have Roll20 in tandem with 5e.tools. This is a lot. This is basically your bread and butter. Whatever the Roll20 doesn't have, 5e.tools has instead. Forgive me, I had to take a drink. This is where you'll find your races, your classes, your features. Literally everything in the bee's knees is here. But we'll say for the first part, I'm gonna use darkness. I know you already have darkness set in stone. What if you needed to find darkness? You click spells. You could even look up darkness, and look at there, spell, darkness. You find that it's a second level evocation. Hun, I don't know where you got darkness from, but damn. It's a second level evocation spell, casting time and action, range 60 feet. It has a verbal and material component. That's what the V and the M stand for. It is a concentration spell up to 10 minutes. And of course you have down here, what does this spell do? As well as, this is just kind of flavor things, what naturally get it or what inherently get it. This stuff is what you would put in for this stuff. So of course, okay, I guess we can do it legitimately. A second level spell. I look down at my blah, 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 down here. Second level spells. I actually don't think I have darkness. I don't. So sweet. Let's say I do. Don't worry about that. Again, some spells you can drag over from Roll20, but if you can't, this is what you'll do instead. What is the name of it? It is darkness. What kind of school? You'll click the school, go down to evocation. Yes, haha. Casting time. Casting time, this is going to be your bonus action. Your one action, does it take 10 minutes to do so? In this case, it's an action to do so. Range. Range of 60 feet. You type that in there. 60 feet. Target. Most spells don't have a target, so you don't have to worry about that. Components. The one thing that it wasn't is somatic. Somatic is like hand motions, hand gesturing. So we're just going to unclick that. It is, however, a concentration spell. So you'll click the concentration button. Look, you'll see it right there, a little concentration circle bubble. Or duration, up to 10 minutes. Spellcasting ability, that will depend on your class, or sometimes if you have an item and it'll say like, charisma is your spellcasting thing. I'm a druid, so wisdom is my spellcasting for a lot of things. So for me, I'll just go ahead and hit wisdom. But again, if you're getting spells from different things and they say use intelligence for this, then you can scroll down and click intelligence, or you can click charisma. So that way it'll automatically in your character sheet sort that through. Output, is it a spell card or is it an attack? If it's a spell card, it's pretty damn easy. You copy and paste it. I'm just gonna like half-a this. Boom. If, however, you're gonna probably have to do this with a lot of spells. If it is a spell that Roll20 does not have and it is an attacking spell, you gotta do just a few more steps. Instead of spell card output, you're gonna change that to attack. And then, oh, don't get worried. I know things popped up. Don't get concerned. Alright. So is it a spell attack? Is it a melee or a ranged? A lot of the times it's gonna be ranged unless it says range of touch. Then it's technically a melee. What kind of damage does it do? you're gonna type in how many dice and of what kind of dice. So we're saying it's gonna do 1d6 cold damage. This is some dope darkness. And then of course if it has additional damage, you would type it there. If it does any healing, sometimes it's just easier. You know what? I'll finish that thought in a second. We keep going. If it has a saving throw, there are some things that on top of doing damage, they have a saving throw for you to do. You would click here, what kind of it, say they have to make a Constitution saving throw, or they fall prone if they fail. Sometimes there are spells that have higher level casting, meaning they'll deal more damage if you cast them at a higher level. For this case, our darkness causes a lot of damage. Let's say it goes up for every spell, even though this is a 2nd level spell. If I casted it at a 3rd level spell slot, it'll deal an extra 1d6 of damage per level above. So it naturally deals 1d6 damage if I was casting it at a 2nd level, or you know what? It's really complicated. You're gonna want another explanation of this if you ever have to do this. Seriously, if you ever have to manually put in a spell, go to me or go to Ryan. We will help you. Don't go to Josh. He doesn't understand this very well. For all the love that I have for him, he's still learning Roll20 as well. But again, it's not that complicated. It really only is if you just don't know what you're looking at, which it took me a while to understand what's going on too. But for now, we're going to leave that as is. But look it. Now this is fancy darkness. And if I cast it, it's going to ask me what level do I want to cast it at. It naturally is going to be at the level that it is. Hit submit. Boom! Look at that. 14 to hit. There's a DC 13 con save. Look at that. 3 spicy cold damage. Wow, that is wimpy for a 2nd level spell. But we're going to get rid of that. If that is really complicated for you to do and maybe you don't want to ask for help or maybe you don't have time to ask for help, what you could also do is when you're adding a spell, is it going to be the spell? Help. Ignore all of this and just copy paste. Just like literally in 5e.tools, copy the entire thing all the way up to the 2nd level, copy, and then paste it in the little box here. So that way, and then just have the output be spell card. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. Send it. Then from here, we can help you manually work it through. It's like, oh, okay. It says they need to make this saving throw. That's what it is. So genuinely, if you either don't want help or you don't have time, just copy and paste everything into it. This method also works. It just takes a little bit extra time. But, you know, what is time for it being easy? You know what? That's at least how my philosophy. If it's going to take too long, just take the easy route, okay? Occam's razor. I don't think you need to worry about anything else. Up here, I don't know what yours looks like. I have no problem with you seeing any of my shiz, so. Okay. Your little cogwheel up here. Click that to start typing in what your class is, what your subclass is, what level you are, what is your race, what is your sub-race, and what is your creature type. Most of the time it's going to be humanoid. Once you have that all settled in, boom, you hit that cogwheel, and look at that! I'm suddenly a Circle of the Sea Druid, and I'm level 5, and I didn't have to do anything. Cool thing about Roll20 sheets, they know what level 5 means, so they're automatically going to up my proficiency bonus. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about that. You type in your background up here, if your alignment, if you have one, or if you're still working it out, type it in there. But that's just kind of flavor. These things, I do not know if you have these. Sometimes you have to manually put them in your sheet. And I'm going to go into the forbidden page. I say forbidden because you really shouldn't go here if you don't know what you're doing. It's this little cogwheel right here. You should naturally have core bio spells, so that way you can toggle between them. This little cogwheel, this danger noodle, boom! Look at all this crazy whack job nonsense. It's really just the fine details of things. If you do not have this public to GM, advantage, normal, disadvantage, all you need to don't worry about any of this stuff. Ignore this stuff. You don't touch this stuff. All you need to worry about is over here on the right side where it says advantage toggle, whisper toggle, auto roll damage, and crit. You're gonna click that and change it. If it says always roll advantage, now you put it to advantage toggle. If it says whisper toggle or query toggle, whisper toggle. That'll tell you, that'll give you these options, which are good. Because say I wanted to incite a character and I didn't want anyone else to know. I would hit 2GM. Then when I hit incite, boom, look at that. No one else is going to see that. 2GM. Now he knows I rolled an insight of 17. That's private. No one else needed to see that. And then hit public, and just like that, I was making a history check to everybody. Why am I rolling so well? Oh, it's fucking fine. It's fine. But then also, if he says, in your case, as a rogue, you're gonna have advantage a lot of the times. So sweet. You're gonna just hit advantage. And then you're gonna hit, you know what, you actually use daggers, so I'll hit dagger too. Oh, damn. These are some mighty fine rolls that I'm not wasting them. It's fine. It's cool. It's fine. Yeah. But again, toggle there should automatically say what it was to hit, the damage. In this case, because it's advantage, it's going to highlight the one that had the highest automatically. Say if I was doing it at disadvantage, then the one that was the lowest is going to automatically be highlighted. It's just something to make it a little bit easier for you. And then, of course, toggle back to normal. And boom! Back to normal. Don't have to concern yourself with that. Another cool thing about D&D, or not D&D, Roll20. If you have armor, baseline armor, because again, Roll20 is kind of limited in their compendium here. Similar to if you wanted to add a weapon. I know you have a crossbow that you wanted to add. Look at that. I typed in crossbow. Give it a second to search and load. Look at all that. Look at, oh gosh. Don't get overwhelmed, I promise you. You're gonna look, you're gonna see which ones are items. You don't want to do proficiencies. My question to you is, what kind of crossbow do you have? Is it a hand crossbow? Is it a heavy crossbow? Is it a light crossbow? It should tell you if it's something that you got from your class. It'll tell you specifically, like if we go home, class, rogue, swipeys down here. If you went by just like, hey, this is what I got naturally. Oh, wow. You know what, don't worry, don't worry about it. But you see right here, like short sword, short bow. I don't know how you have a crossbow. You still technically have it. Don't worry. It's yours. You have it. You keep it. You take it. But again, changes the damage on how you want to do it. You just click and drag. So you had a hand crossbow. Boom! Look at that. Right there. Same thing with armor and shields. I don't know what armor you have, but let's say, let's look at rogue here. Rogues naturally get leather armor. You know what? I have leather armor on currently. So let's say for whatever reason you found studded leather, which is the next best thing. You can just type in studded leather. It's like, okay, don't have that. Don't look at these things. Don't worry about those things. This thing right here, studded leather. Click it, drag it. Boom! You probably can't see that, but look at my AC went from 13 to 14. Because I naturally... AC is not incorrect. Oh, hush you. But again, it'll just naturally add it in here into your equipment. And because Roll20 is cool like that, since it automatically knows what it is, it's going to add it in there. Unfortunately, if it is something that Roll20 does not have, say you have this really fancy armor that gives you a +2 or something to your AC, you are going to have to manually input that. It's not that difficult. You just have to go into the Forbidden tab again and like look for AC or something. Actually, no, you don't have to go into the... For AC, you don't have to. For AC, you can actually go in and change it. If so necessary. I'm going to put that there. But for the most part, that is Roll20. Sorry if this was a little confusing, but I at least wanted to tell you and have you have a reference video on how things do. A lot of it, you look in, you drag it. If you have to manually put in things, I can help you again later, but at least I showed you here how to do them. I don't think there's actually anything else I need to teach you on there. 5e.tools is pretty easy to navigate. We'll go back to the spells. The filter button, you already know how to do this for the most part because you filtered through the items. The sources, these are just the books. Click on blue to say, yes, I want them. Oh god, don't sass me. Oh my gosh. Click them twice to turn them red to say, do not, 100%, do not have this in here. And then third click and it's just not going to be there. So, a lot of these things, again, if you have even more questions, just go ahead and ask us. I understand this is a lot of information to be taken in what I was hoping would be a 5-minute video and is turning into like a half hour. My apologies. But hopefully this gives you enough context to better understand things. Oh, pickles. No, I guess that's not that much. When you click on your character, I don't know if he has this for you. It really should. First of all, your token should be lined up with your character to the point where I'm gonna like click drag on Atticus and then boom, look at, he has a new token with his incorrect hit points. It was an old character sheet. Then he's gone. These little circles up here most of the time is a good quick reference for HP and armor class, your AC. It should, if your token is connected to your character sheet, which I think it is, should automatically adjust those. If not, you're going to hit the little cog wheel. And this is where you can adjust things manually. Say if I just wanted to suddenly give him 20 hit points. What? Look at that. Now he has 20 hit points. In fact, he doesn't. He has 0 hit points. He's a suffering boy. This little bobble down here allows you to click things, add things to your token, which is Ooh, I added too many things. Which is helpful if you have to worry about spells or conditions. They keep it relatively vague so that you can just kind of add things as necessary. If for whatever reason your token is not connected to your character sheet, you're gonna go to edit. Boom, look at this. Look at this. It's not that scary. The avatar is just however it shows up here in the right hand. Your default token, a lot of the times you can drag a token from your, you can either drag a token from your desktop or you can upload it, or say if you already had it onto the page, you can click that token and this button will pop up and it'll say, you want to use selected token? Yes, I would like to use selected token, and it'll swap it over. And again, that'll automatically have AC and HP, and then you just make sure you save those changes, and then boom, you're all set. Again, I apologize if any of this is stuff that you know or that Josh was able to refer to you. But at the very least, I hope this helps clear things up a little bit. But until then, again, if you have any questions, you can still ask me. But yeah, this was an informal, unscripted tour of Roll20. Have fun.